What is my top 5 movies of all time? Thank you. Now, I like films, like a lot. So are we going to just do 5 films in general, or are we going to break it down into genre? Like 5 horror films, 5 action films, 5 comedy films, that kind of stuff. Or just like 5 best films of all time ever. Okay, can we lump Lord of the Rings, all 3, as just one giant film? Would that be okay? Otherwise, they're going to take up 3 slots in the 5 list. Because I don't think anyone wants to see Two Towers, Return of the King, and Fellowship as like 3 of the ones. So let's lump that together, okay? We'll go with that. So yes, Lord of the Rings, without a doubt, absolutely. If I can sit down with someone and watch Lord of the Rings, we will do. Apart from that, right, what do we... let's choose like one action film, one comedy, one that kind of things. Comedy films that have made me laugh. I mean, Airplane is very funny. That is, you've got to admit, Airplane, without a doubt. Absolutely excellent film. Not watched it in a long time, but it still makes me laugh. Probably Monty Python and the Holy Grail. That would be a good one. Hot Fuzz is another funny one. These aren't going on the list, but I think Holy Grail could definitely be there. I think I prefer Holy Grail over The Life of Brian. Both excellent films, but Holy Grail to me just tickles me because I very much love medieval fantasy. So we'll do Holy Grail. We'll do all 3 Lord of the Rings films as one big film. We'll do Holy Grail. What about horror films? Because do I approach this as like really pretentious actor, film student? Do I sit down and go like, oh, well, actually the greatest horror film ever made is Mad God, because through no dialogue whatsoever, it conveys a sense of unease and dystopian horror. And yeah, for anyone in there's going to be like 4 people in the chat who've actually watched all of Mad God. It's a film called Mad God. It's insanely good. It's weird, but it's insanely good. Skinamarink, yes, that's another really weird one. Yeah, Mad God was... I felt weird after watching it, but then you've also got things like Everything Everywhere All at Once, which was a beautiful film. Is Everything Everywhere All at Once a good film? Yes, it is. Is it top 5 films of all time? Yeah, Mad God makes you to feel weird to be alive, without a doubt. What's my favourite film which is so bad it's actually good? Well, everyone automatically straight away goes to The Room for the so bad it's good film. But... you know what? I have a real love for the Dead or Alive film, or things like the Street Fighter film. The Street Fighter film, the Dead or Alive film. How about the original Power Rangers with Ivan Ooze? Remember that one? Remember that one? Without a doubt. Let's go with the original Power Rangers with the Ivan Ooze bad guy. That can be the so bad it's good film. And if you haven't seen it, allow me to... if you have seen it, do you remember the lyrics to the fight song? Action boy now, action girl now. Repeated for like 5 minutes while they fight in a construction site. Hell yeah. That was just... you guys definitely... if you haven't seen it, Google it. Just Google it. It's a very interesting... the original Power Rangers where he mind controls all the parents and makes them walk off a cliff while the kids watch. When you say it like that, it sounds bad. When you're watching it in the film, you're like, oh, this is so jovial. What a jape. What a lark we're all having. Oh, what a fantastic, lovely time. What a child-friendly film. But then you watch it back and you're like, this is fucking dark, man. People are about to die. Yeah, very much. Favorite war film, anti-war film included. I'm not a massive kind of war film guy, but let me think. Are we talking like any war film? World War I, World War II? Because Enemy at the Gates was pretty good. That was cool. Obviously, everyone goes for like the big ones like Pearl Harbor and stuff. Zulu, of course, you have to like because of Michael Caine. But no, so what happened with Zulu was Michael Caine got cast in Zulu, and his part was actually relatively small when he was cast, and he researched the part in the military that he had been cast as, and he went to the director and went, I don't know if you know this, but the character you've given me actually does a lot more than you've given me in the script. I should be responsible for this and this and this and this and this. And the director went, oh, yep, cool, got to keep the film accurate. We will absolutely increase the amount of lines you've got and the involvement you have in this film. Genius. Worked his ass off in order to get more lines in a film. That's a perfect Michael Caine thing to do. But no, what was the best kind of war film? I'm not a big war film guy, to be honest. It's not really a massive interest that I have. I'm an hour in, but I love watching The Sky. I haven't seen that one. Iron Cross is good. Have I seen Birdman? I haven't yet. No, I haven't. It's one of those things that I do want to see at some point. where were we with films? So all 3 Lord of the Rings films combined together, without a doubt. Holy Grail. Now, I think one of my favourite films, just from a pure artistic point of view, was Fight Club. And I understand that every young guy likes Fight Club, and every young guy sees themselves as Tyler Durden. But then when you start to understand life a bit more, you realise that actually Tyler Durden is pretty much a satire of the toxic masculinity that's infecting this guy's life and making him think he has to be like this. But Fight Club was an excellently made film with an excellent message behind it of effectively modern man's search for meaning within what they come to see as a meaningless society. Oh, war film. If we're talking about the best war film that's not... Someone said the best war film that's not based on a real war. If we're talking about the best war film that's not based on a real war, then would you like to know more? Because it's an alien planet. A bug planet. It's Fritz Klandathu. That's what it is. If we're talking about the best war film not based on a war, then I'm from Buenos Aires and I say kill 'em all. Yeah. Without a doubt, Starship Troopers is just one of the absolute best war films. It's Imperial Guard and Tyranids. That's what it is, man. It's Imperial Guard and Tyranids. Yeah, without a doubt, Starship Troopers, phenomenally good film. Someone said that's a weird way to say Avatar. Oh man, Avatar. This was actually part of our study in uni. Avatar was one of the strangest film kind of elements of all time. Strangest film events, if you will. And I've talked about this before on stream, but it fascinates me. Avatar broke all the records and left no cultural impact. It left technological impact because people liked the whole kind of the fact there was a good 3D film, the fact they made incredible CGI planets, they put a lot of work into the behind-the-scenes stuff. It was technically extremely impressive, but culturally, almost no one cared about Avatar. It didn't leave any lasting cultural impression. I mean, think about the cultural impact of Star Wars. Almost unprecedented at the time. Everyone knows about Star Wars. Almost everyone's seen Star Wars. Star Wars has infected every other element of life. It's insane. Star Wars is a cultural zeitgeist. And then you look at Avatar, and almost no one cares. Like, people have seen the film. I mean, statistically, everyone's seen the film like 5 times. But it just didn't change how the world, worked. It didn't change science fiction too much. It didn't change culture. It didn't infect non-film people. Everyone was massively hyped about it. I mean, you walk into a toy shop now, there are almost endless rows of toys from Avatar: The Way of Water, and who's buying them? Which kid is going to be absolutely stoked this Christmas to open an Avatar: The Way of Water toy? I'm not saying that, you shouldn't be appreciative of gifts that you get given. I'm saying that if you consider the amount of people who would be totally happy opening the Lego Millennium Falcon and compare that to the amount of people who would be happy opening anything from Avatar, more people are probably going to want that Falcon. Let's be real. I'm not saying Avatar's, if you like it, if you're into it, great. If that's how you want to live your life, you live your life that way. But no, I've just not bothered watching the new Avatar at all. It's just reskinned Pocahontas. Also, can I just go off on a rant about Avatar for a second? There's been a second Avatar film. I'm going to assume, correct me if I'm wrong here, I'm going to assume the humans lose again. Is that kind of where we're going with this one in general? If you've seen it in the chat, just let me know if that's the general thing. Because do the humans lose again? Okay, cool. So we've effectively lost 2 conflicts, if you will, with blue people. When are we going to just nuke them? I think I realised that I didn't like Avatar when halfway through I realised I was absolutely on the side of the military general. The dude he'd promised Jake Sully to get his legs back, and then he had those badass walking mechs in the jungle, and halfway through I'm kind of like, I get it. I'm kind of on your side at this point here. Like, we've lost 2 wars to blue aliens, and in Avatar 1, we even saw that they were like really cool flying gunships, and yet they got shot down. There was a scene in Avatar 1, and I'm sorry to go off on a rant, I don't care if this loses me viewers or respect, but this is important science-wise. There is a scene in Avatar 1 when one of the human gunships is flying, and then one of the stupid bird things flies over it, and they shoot like a bow and arrow from above it, and the arrow goes through the plexiglass of the gunship and stabs into the pilot flying. How weak does your plexiglass need to be for an arrow to go through it? Can we not just, like, put another layer of a grill? Maybe some kind of double glazing. We invented that a while ago. Plastic? Maybe even just bend it. I'm sorry, but there is a point. There is a point where I'm like, you know what? These guys are losing because they're stupid. And at that point, I just... What's a good example of a film where the bad guys are legitimately dangerous? You know what? As far as TV goes, you know the scariest thing on TV that I ever watched? I'm not even going to joke here. The Borg. Star Trek, The Next Generation, The Borg, legitimately scary. Every single time the Borg turned up in an episode, you were like, all right, these mean business. Gus Fring in Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad, yeah, Gus Fring turns up, guys mean business. Homelander turns up, you're in trouble. Guy means business. Also, how good is The Boys? Let's just admit that. The Boys. If I ever do a cosplay, I want it to be Billy Butcher. That's why I need to find a friend with blonde hair who can do Homelander. And we definitely need to have like a group cosplay of all of the Boys and then the Seven next to them as well. I would definitely do that. Have Callum do Homelander, and I'll turn up as Billy Butcher. Get the whole, get the coat for it, get the flowery Hawaiian shirts and everything. I'd do that. Yeah, I would do that. Yeah, The Empire Strikes Back. Again, I find it very easy to get invested in films where the bad guys are legitimately dangerous. And even when the bad guys win, I think the reason that I didn't like Avatar as much was because the bad guys in the film, which were the humans, just seemed incompetent. And yet they had so much stuff that that would have been great. I've said before many times, the best bad guy in any film is Ed Harris in the film The Rock, because you completely agree with him. You're watching him, you're like, yeah, I get it. I'm kind of on your side with this one. Second Avatar film, the humans were even more stupid. Oh, God. No, it's a real shame. It is a real shame. So yeah, this whole tangent was about films. Let's talk about film. Stephen King's The Mist. Yeah. Horror is scary when you can't beat it, when you don't know what it is, when you're unsure of what you're taking on or unsure of how to win. Yeah. Yeah, The Mist. Again, very scary. I recently watched Fast X and Jason Momoa was incredibly fun. I've seen clips of Jason. I think he can act really well. Like, the guy is a solid actor, without a doubt. Absolutely solid actor. Favorite Tarantino film? I mean, Pulp Fiction's a good one. Let's be real. Pulp Fiction's a good one. But I do have a soft spot for Kill Bill. What was the one that turned into a vampire film halfway through? Wasn't that Dog Soldiers? I'm sure that was one of them. There was a weird one. There was a Tarantino film that becomes a vampire thing halfway through. From Dusk Till Dawn, that was the one. From Dusk Till Dawn. Dog Soldiers is that weird werewolf film, wasn't it? Yes. You said that's the best werewolf film, all right? Disagree strongly, okay? I love you, I'm sure you're great, but I think we can all agree the greatest werewolf film of all time is Van Helsing. If I ever meet Hugh Jackman, it's not about X-Men. It's not about The Greatest Showman. It's about Van Helsing. Hugh, tell me about Van Helsing. What was it like? I need to know, because my God, that was a weird film. Van Helsing is one of those films that I show people, and then I'm grinning the entire way through the film. Just so you know, if you ever watch a film with me, I do that weird thing where I don't watch. If I've seen the film before, I don't watch it. What happens is I stare at you when the good bits happen, and if you don't effectively respond in the way that I think is correct, we pause the film and I interrogate you as to why. That's what it is. So we'll be watching the film, a funny bit will come up, and I swear to God, if you bring your phone out, if you start talking to your friends, I'm pausing the film, we're rewinding it, we're watching it again. Right? It's not about your enjoyment of the film. It's about my enjoyment of your response to the film. Right? This is not about you. This is about me. When we're like, oh, yeah, let's watch this film, fine. And, okay, I will be honest as well. I need to understand. And this is how I can tell that you and me are going to be friends. Let me set the scene, and you can tell me what you would do in this situation. Okay? We've sat down to watch a film. The screen goes black. The opening words. I feel it in the water. It's Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. We're watching it. Extended editions, obviously. Who even owns the non-extended ones? Halfway through that film, Viggo Mortensen kicks a helmet. What do you do at that moment? Do you turn to me? And do you look at me? And do I turn to you and do I look at you? Which of us say it first? Maybe at the same time. Maybe we go together. Maybe we go, did you know that he actually broke his toe when he kicked that helmet? Yeah, okay. We're friends, but we're not best friends. Not yet. Best friends come later. Best friends are during the scene when he's fighting, is it Lurs? And Lurs throws the dagger, throws the knife through the air. And Viggo deflects it with his sword. And that's when we turn and look at each other and smile. And we go, did you know? He actually deflected that. The stuntman was meant to throw that dagger to the side. Then they were going to use camera angles to make it look more dangerous. But through a mistake, he actually threw it at Viggo. And Viggo, no longer Viggo, actually Aragorn at that exact moment, decided. He decided, he's like, you know what? I like living. This film's pretty good. I'm going to deflect this dagger. He could have missed if he wanted to. He chose not to. He deflected it. Yeah, there we go. Oh my good goddamn, I get to see your stream. All right, look, time, you're going to have to lower your expectations. Right now we're talking about things about Lord of the Rings that everyone already knows. Okay? We're really scraping the bottom of the barrel of trivia here. I'm not exactly... Look, film trivia. For the next 3 hours, that's all I'm going to tell you. My favourite fact about Lord of the Rings, though, without a doubt. And I'm sure this is canon. 100% going with this now. Frodo has absolutely no idea who Legolas is. That's what... I've got proof of this as well. You've probably all seen the clip of this. You probably all know exactly where I'm going with this. Frodo has no fucking clue who Legolas is, why he's there. Legolas says one line to Frodo literally the entire series. All he says is, and my bow, or you have my bow. That's pretty much it. Apart from that, nothing else happens. That's it. And you can tell that Frodo has no bloody clue who he is, because when Frodo wakes up in Rivendell after being injured and everyone walks into the room, he greets everyone by name. He's like, Sam, Merry, Pippin, Gandalf, Gimli! You! He has no idea who Legolas is. Go back and watch the scene. All he does is Legolas walks in and smiles, and then Frodo smiles. I really wish there was an extended scene where kind of Frodo just leans over to Gandalf's like, who's that? And Gandalf is like, I don't know. He's just been... he's good with a bow. He's following us. We're just letting him join in. What it feels like a school trip where two schools have gone to like a theme park, like Alton Towers at the same time, and one person from one school has just wandered into the other school trip, but they're kind of cool, so everyone's just going with it. Everyone's like, yeah, they're our friend now. They're going to hang out with us for the rest of the day. Then they'll go back to their school at the end of the day. No one's annoyed. Just no one has any idea what that person's name is. That's what it is. 100% sure about that. That's all it is. Did I do that? Look, I may have done. All right, I may have been on a school trip at some point, and I was maybe in like year 6, year 7. It's like early high school years. And obviously, I wasn't a popular kid because I played RuneScape. And obviously now that would be different. I'm an unpopular man who plays RuneScape. I've evolved. But yeah, halfway through being on a school trip to Alton Towers or to like a big theme park, I kind of thought, this is lame. I'm going to wander off and see what's going on. And if anyone knows me in real life, you'll know that I do that a lot. Like, if I'm at an event, if I'm at a group convention thing, I will wander off and just do stuff. You can look around. You have no idea where I'm going to be. I will just randomly go to certain places. You'll look. I'll be part of your group and I'll be gone.